Good evening from India. I would like to welcome you all to the fifth session of GeoLive 2021, time 7 p.m. IST. My name is Sutono Tani, student of School of Civil Engineering at Lovely Professional University, and I will be your co-chair for this evening session. Thank you all for joining. Dear sir, on behalf of School of Civil Engineering, Lovely Professional University, Indian Geotechnical Society, Jalandhar Chapter, and Department of Civil Engineering, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, National Institute of Technology, Jalandhar. I welcome you for your session on the topic Soil Reinforcement, a Sustainable Approach Towards Disaster Risk Reduction. The session is chaired by Dr. Amit Srivastava, Professor and Head of School of Civil Engineering, LPU, and will be co-chaired by me and my faculty, Ms. Monica Verma. Now I request my faculty member, Ms. Monica Verma, to take over the session and start the proceedings.
Thank you, Juthana Tunai. It gives me an immense pleasure to introduce Dr. Srivalsa Kolcha to our audience who have joined us on this Google Meet platform. Dr. Srivalsa pursued MTech from IIT Kanpur, PhD from Indian Institute of Science, and served as international research staff at UPC Barcelona Tech, Spain. He is presently working as assistant professor in the Department of Civil Engineering, National Institute of Technology, Surthkal, Karnataka, India. Dr. Srivalsa has authored 3 books that are now subscribed by worldwide university libraries, including MIT and Stanford. He published 28 journal papers and 30 conference papers. He is editorial board member of 2 international journals and acted as a reviewer for many international journals also. And he is currently the secretary, Indian chapter of International Association for Coastal Reservoir Research and executive committee member of Indian Society of Earthquake Technology also. In 2017, the New Indian Express honored Dr. Srivalsa with edX Award 40 under 40, South India's most inspiring young teachers. He is the recipient of ISET DK Paul Research Award from Indian Society of Earthquake Technology, IIT Roorkee in 2018. Dr. Srivalsa represented India at SINO South Asian Countries Disaster Risk Prevention and Reduction Forum at China. He is in the roster of 2 technical committees of ASCE Geo Institute. He also received IEI Young Engineers Award by the Institutions of Engineers India in recognition of his contribution in the field of civil engineering. Now I hand over the session to our session expert to deliver talk on the topic Soil Reinforcement, a Sustainable Approach Toward Disaster Risk Reduction. And one more request to the audience that during the session, if you are having any question, you can put the same in the chat box or you may ask at the end of the session by unmuting yourself. Do not unmute or turn on your camera during the session. This is a request from my side to everyone. You can just, your all questions will be taken care by the expert at the end. Okay. So till then, please mute your mic and your video should also be turned off. So at the end of the session, all the queries will be solved. So over to you, sir. Thank you to be with us.
Thank you very much. Very good evening to all of you. The title of my presentation, I have framed as Soil Reinforcement, a Sustainable Approach for Disaster Risk Reduction. Well, so these days, there is a lot of talk going about disaster risk reduction. There is a lot of focus also given by the world countries. United Nations have even the 2015, in the year 2015, the Sendai framework for disaster risk reduction was adopted by world countries. And even in our country also, India also, recently the Honorable Prime Minister has given a 10-point agenda on disaster risk reduction. In that, the first and foremost point is concerning infrastructure development, disaster resilient infrastructure or resilient infrastructures. So in that aspect, geotechnical engineers in particular and civil engineers in general has a larger role to play in mitigating the disasters, and in that soil reinforcement is very cost effective and sustainable technique for disaster risk reduction. So this is the content of my presentation. I will wind up my talk in say 40 minutes or so. Then we can have some time for discussion. So I will briefly introduce to hazard and risk, then soil stabilization, a little bit, or say reinforcement, then the geosynthetics and its functions, and the emerging type of geosynthetic, that is geocells and its applications and its reinforcement mechanisms, and the model studies that we have conducted in our laboratory and some of the case studies. And all this I will be relating to disaster risk reduction. Well, all of you are familiar with this structure. So this is the Leaning Tower of Pisa in Italy. Why it is leaning? Because of the differential settlement. On one side of the foundation, the soil was weak, so that is why it is leaning. And the engineers have erected actually, but they did not erect it completely, because if erected completely, it will lose its uniqueness. It will be no more leaning tower. Then people will not come to see. See, if there is any disaster, no, people will come and see. Even if there is an accident happen, people will gather. Out of that, only couple of them may be willing to help. But if there is a disaster, any fire happen, anything happen, people will gather to see. But actually, this is such a kind of disaster. It was a geotechnical blunder that became a monument. It was a civil engineering blunder that became a monument. And there was actually, all of you know about the Titanic ship, no? It sank in the year 1912. Most of you might have watched the movie also. It is very popular. All of you know about Titanic sinking of the ship. How many of you know about sinking of Transcona grain elevator? It happened in the immediate next year in 1913. Transcona grain elevator, huge grain storage structure, has tilted at about 27 degrees. It was a clay soil. It was also a foundation failure. But that was not made a monument because it was a utility structure and it was erected completely. That is why none of us know, unless engineers who study that. But Leaning Tower of Pisa is known to even common public. Fine, if same phenomenon of differential settlement happens to our house, it does not become a tourist spot, but it becomes a disaster because its utility value is lost. The structure will develop cracks. So when infrastructure development takes place in a city or in any region, so slowly buildings come up, multi-story buildings, towers, bridges, water tanks. So you see so many structures coming up, and there are so many things that is happening below your feet. The soil profile. The unsung heroes of civil engineers are buried right under your feet in terms of soil exploration, investigations, foundations, tunneling, and whatnot. And another aspect is that if there is a very good, beautiful structure, everybody will ask who designed the building, who is the structural designer. Everybody will ask who designed that building, and everybody will appreciate. But nobody will ask who designed the foundation, who is the geotechnical engineer, who was the geotechnical investigator. Nobody will ask. They will ask when the structure fails, people will ask. When there is a failure, people will remember geotechnical engineers. Anyway, that is a beauty and we love that. This is a scene from Bihar last year during rainy season. One approach road towards a newly built bridge was collapsed. So this is a kind of disaster. It's a land soil collapse that has happened due to disaster, due to floods. And it could have been prevented if the soil was reinforced properly or if it was retained properly. This is another structural collapse, another disaster. during an earthquake, a structure collapsed. So we say there is a disaster or there is a risk when 4 elements come together. That is hazard, exposure, vulnerability, and location. You can say even when you talk about the COVID risk, even if you open your Arogya Setu app, it will predict whether you are under risk or not based on these 4 factors. Hazard, is there COVID patients nearby? That is the hazard in this case. Whether there are infected cases around you. Location, it will tell you within 500 meter, yeah, there are 2 COVID patients. Within 1 kilometer, there are 8. Within 2 kilometers, there are this many. So location. So that is why if you are now in Kerala or Maharashtra, you are under more risk. Location, hazard, and then comes exposure. So if you are wearing a PPE kit, you are not exposed. If you are wearing a mask, you are less exposed. If you are not wearing a mask, you are completely exposed. So exposure is also a main reason. And vulnerability. If your immunity is low, if you are children or if you are aged or if you are not good in health, then you are more vulnerable. So that you are under higher risk. So this is the same thing. This app will also, Arogya Setu will also assess. Same thing is applied to all kinds of risk. So this is a definition given by the United Nations. Risk comprises of these 4 factors: hazard, location, exposure, and vulnerability. So if you take about this structure, there was an earthquake. So hazard is there. Location, it was at a location where there is a probability of earthquake occurrence. Exposure, this was exposed to the earthquake and vulnerable. The structure is vulnerable because it was not properly designed. So that is why it collapsed. Now I am showing you another picture from Kobe Line in Japan. This is the picture in 1992. You can see a retaining wall on the left and houses on the right. In 1995, there was a major earthquake. After the earthquake, you can see all the houses, fragile houses collapsed, the buildings collapsed, but the retaining wall is very stable and intact. It is not even a concrete retaining wall. It is just made of soil, but it was just reinforced with the geogrid. And what you see covering, that is just a fascia panels. So it was only just reinforced with the geogrids. So you see the difference. Its vulnerability is reduced by soil reinforcement. So this itself shows you the power of soil reinforcement in reducing disaster risk. Well, this is a picture from Kavalappara in Kerala. In 2019, there was a massive landslide. 100 acres of land slipped away. You can believe 100 acres of land slipped away, and around 90 houses were completely buried under the soil. See, you cannot see the house remains also. Completely buried under the soil. Around 90 houses. You can see in the center, there is a small vegetative cover. There are 8 houses saved. 8 houses, nothing happened to them. You can see surrounding now, above that, below that, downs, and on both the sides, everything washed away. But here, 8 houses, nothing happened. Actually, there is no connectivity for those people to come out because it is completely, everything is washed away. These 7-8 houses were saved because of the tree roots, because of this vegetation cover. It was saved because tree roots act as a kind of reinforcement. It was known to us since earlier times. The tree roots, or the fibers act as a reinforcement and hold the soil intact. So you can see on the right bottom, it is a reinforcement system using vetiver system. So vetiver is a plant that its root can go even up to 3 to 4 meters deep. And there is a highway in Vietnam where around more than 1,000 kilometers, every year there landslides used to happen. And they have completely reinforced with just vetiver plantation. And it is very successful because its root can go 3 to 4 meter deep and there is no cost much involved. Within 6 months to 1 year, its roots will grow and it needs minimum care. It will grow by itself and it will last long also. So naturally, with the natural reinforcement also, you can prevent a lot of disasters. But this kind of massive global failure, it may be difficult, but with the proper reinforcement and techniques, we can so many of local failures we can prevent. Fine. So this is a small study my students have done. So this was a study myself and Dr. Anil Kumar Sharma from NIT Patna have jointly performed this reinforcement of soil with different types of fibers we have tried, like Kyer fiber, sisal fiber, Areca fiber, and also a synthetic fiber. So I am just only the final result I am showing. So we have done a couple of UCS tests and also couple of model studies also we have performed, and we have found that when reinforced with the fibers, the unconfined compressive strength of the soil increases around 4 to 5 times. There is a 4 to 5 times increase in unconfined compressive strength when the soil is reinforced with the Kyer fiber. And similarly with other fibers also, the strength enhances. This was published in Journal of Materials in Civil Engineering, and the model test was published in a STM journal. So you can see the soil fiber interface. Due to the interface friction, how the strength property of the soil enhances. So these are the SCM images. Well, that is about adding fibers to the soil and reinforcing the soil. So now coming to geosynthetics is the very popular method of reinforcing the soil. And all of you might have already heard about geosynthetics and familiar about its functions and different kinds of products, because these days they are very widely used. But still, even in tier 2 cities, in Chennai, Metro, Bangalore, Kolkata, they are very widely used. But I see I am in Mangalore city here. When we recommend geosynthetics to some clients, they find difficult in finding contractors, because contractors for everything they have a very preset mind that they have to construct RCC retaining walls. So it costs some very high amount of money, and also it may not be sustainable, and sometimes it can even cause adverse effects also. Anyway, while discussing about case study, I will discuss one example experience I had recently. Anyway, let us go ahead with the geosynthetics. So it has two parts, geo and synthetics. Geo means earth or soil, and synthetics means fabricated or man-made product. So different types of geosynthetics like geogrids, geomembranes, geonets, geotextiles, geocells, and geocomposites. Let us see them. Before that, the function of geosynthetics are mainly for separation, drainage, filtration, and reinforcement. So if you want to prevent intermixing of two things, you can provide geomembrane, impermeable membrane, like canal lining or landfill lining to prevent the lichet mixing or contamination of soil or contamination of groundwater, or even in the nuclear waste deposit. There are geosynthetic clay liners also available, because clay is also almost impermeable, embedded with the impermeable geosynthetic membranes. So they are very effective. Then drainage, geotextiles can allow the water to pass, so it will enhance drainage. There are prefabricated vertical drains also available. And filtration, it will allow water to pass, but solid materials will be resisted So there are several applications where we need filtration and reinforcement, especially in infrastructure development projects where engineering properties are involved or prominent. This function is very important. Reinforcement. It provides additional strength to the soil. It adds tensile strength to the, because the geosynthetic materials, it is characterized, this engineering property is mainly characterized by its tensile strength as well as the interface friction angle or the shear resistance friction between the geosynthetic material and the soil. So we already discussed geogrids, geotextiles, geonets, there are geomembranes, geosynthetic clay liners. So they are different products that come under geosynthetics. And then gabions using steel wires or polymer rope for slope protection. Then PVD, vertical drains, garmat, boulder net, etc. They are used under different applications. We go for different types of geosynthetics. So geogrid, there are uniaxial geogrid in one direction, as well as biaxial geogrid, which has equal tensile strength in both directions, longitudinal as well as transverse directions. Then there is geonet. So it looks similar to geogrid, but its orientation is different. Then geomembrane, which is impermeable. It can be used as an interface or as a liner, mainly used in water conservation projects, landfill projects for canal lining, etc. Then geocomposites, which is a combination of two or more materials like geotextile or geogrid. Then there is geocell, which is a three-dimensional honeycomb shaped material, mainly used from high density polyethylene materials. So, and also geomat, which is used for erosion control. Then geomesh. Geomesh can be manufactured from natural materials also. Then geopipe and geospacer. So like that, there are different types of products available in the market. And they are very popular because of its properties like non-corrosiveness, very light and very easy to transport and cost effective and very good aesthetic look, etc. And as an engineering material, we go for it because it has excellent stress strain behavior. And it is most of them are ductile and it can take tensile strength. It has very good flexibility and it has good filtration characteristics and good permeability, especially for geotextiles, and excellent mechanical properties. Also, it can be welded together. In geocell manufacturing, you do ultrasonic welding or high frequency welding, and it does not form byproducts and very highly resistant to varying climatic conditions, resistant to biological and chemical attack. And it saves time, saves money, and very rapid construction and very environmentally friendly and sustainable as well as duration. So that is why we choose geosynthetics in infrastructure projects. And mainly the raw materials are polymers, which are manufactured through the process of polymerization, and also natural materials or fibers like jute, coir, paper, cotton, wool, areca, sisal also can be used. So they are called as geojute, geocoir, etc. So areas of application like land engineering, coastal protection, rockfall protection, flood control, roads, railways, slope stabilization, etc. Some of the pictures showing different applications like coastal protection, rockfall protection, canal lining, geomembranes are used, revetment, flood control, and roads, railways, ground improvement. Recently, in an MRPL, one consultancy project came to us. Here, actually, it's a very weak soil. Actually, they have, so they wanted to store bitumen storage tanks in the MRPL of high capacity, over 10 acres of land. So there we have suggested a combination of geogrid and geocells. because it improves the bearing capacity 4 to 5 times. Then in slope stabilization, it has excellent application in stabilizing the slopes. And different tests for geosynthetics like UV resistance. As engineers, we are more interested in tensile strength and shear resistance. The interface friction angle between geosynthetic material and soil and its tensile strength as well as permeability. So this is how a wide width tensile strength test is done on a geogrid or geotextile. And advantages, as we discussed, it saves labor, no noise pollution, eco-friendly, easy to install, and low handling cost. So this is the fiber-wise conception of raw materials. So I will not go into this, but natural materials also take a good place in that. Some of the case studies where geosynthetic materials are used for different applications like pavement, slope protection, RE wall, reinforced earth wall. So you see, if you are providing a RCC wall or something else, it is an additional extra structure. But if you are reinforcing the soil, it is the existing soil itself that is reinforced. See, this reinforcement will go into the soil, say 2 to 3 meters, or it depends on the soil properties, the length of inclusion. So the existing soil itself is reinforced, and if they are permeable, no, there is no additional weep holes required. As was discussing recently, 2 consultancy works actually, 2 works where I was involved. One actually they approached us when a RCC wall and the entire slab collapsed. Earlier they had a masonry wall, and then the client actually they constructed an RCC wall for an additional protection. The masonry walls was perfect, there was no problem, but for an additional protection they have constructed an RCC wall, but they didn't provide weep holes. Then what happened? During rainy season, the hydrostatic pressure was built up and there is no weep holes for water to go out. So what happened? The RCC wall collapsed and the entire slope collapsed. So they gave the wall for additional protection, but it caused an adverse effect. And similarly in Madikeri, they some 30 lakh rupees they spent to build a 25-meter RCC wall. On halfway, it collapsed and they approached us. Then we suggested reinforcement using simple geogrid and also vetiver. Actually, it could have been completely wall could have been avoided with a simple reinforcement. The slope could have been made stable, but with additional expense, it is because of the negligence. Even though so many works have been done, if you discuss about reinforcement, or if you attend an Indian Geotechnical Conference for last 20 years, everybody is talking about this. But still, even in the towns, tier 2 cities, these are not popular, or there are no contractors available to execute these kinds of work. They directly, even the clients give us the letter asking for design for RCC retaining wall. They don't even want to explore other alternative options which are sustainable and low cost. So that is why there is a need to change. That is why, even though this is well understood well before 20 to 30 years, but still I am addressing. But this geocell is becoming popular these days. I will discuss about that. So in many of the flyovers and road bridges, or you see even in the underpass also on the slide protection, you see mainly they are reinforced. The earth is retained with reinforcement, either geocell retaining wall, or these are all MSC walls, actually reinforced earth walls. So all the soil is reinforced with earth, and this is just a fascia panel given as a facing, as a covering. This is the soil itself. Actually, soil itself is reinforced. You can see geogrid reinforced soil walls. So this is a test that we have done in our laboratory using Arakka leaf sheath in manufacturing geogrid. So I have patented this recently. The patent was published last year. So we have conducted the model test in a small setup. Actually, we have conducted the model test. So this is the tensile strength test. Actually, the Arakka leaf sheath, the tensile strength is 5 times higher actually compared to polypropylene geograde, but areca leaf is very brittle. So that is the problem. Anyway, we have conducted the model studies and we have found that the areca grade performs as good as the geogrid, and the performance compared to unreinforced soil is much high when we use areca leaf sheath grid. So geogrids were made from areca leaves, and we also compared with the Kayar grids also and polypropylene geogrid. So areca grid is giving very high performance. So this was published in Journal of Natural Fibers. Now I will move on to another product, geosynthetic only, which is termed as geocells. As the term says, this is cellular confinement. These are cells made of geosynthetics or high density polyethylene materials. So we have recently published a book edited by Professor T.G. Sitaram, IIT Guwahati, Dr. Amarnath Hegde from IIT Patna, and myself, a comprehensive resource on geocells. So the function of geosynthetics we have discussed. Geocells also have similar functions. So this is how a typical geocell look like, and it has applications like embankment foundation, paved road, unpaved road, footing foundation, earth retaining wall, and slope erosion control. As a retaining wall, no, it can act as a gravity retaining wall as well as a fascia, cover fascia. You can see a schematic of a typical geocell retaining wall, geocell panel stacked. And actually the beauty is that here you don't need to have any covering. If you are going for a soil nailing or any other technique, no, you have to shotcrete. Here you need not to give any other fascia. If it is filled with soil, no, you can even grow vegetation over there. It will give you a green cover. So that is very good looking and cost effective. So this is an example, a case study from USA. I got it from the internet only, where geocell was used to stabilize the slope, and after completion you can see it is completely covered with the green, but very stable slope it becomes. So this is the mechanism of geocell reinforcement. See, when you apply load in normal condition, this is how a failure surface gets developed. If this is the footing, you apply load, this is how the failure surface is developed in the foundation soil. Now, if you provide geocell reinforcement, see, it restricts the failure surface through vertical dispersion effect, lateral resistance effect, and membrane effect. You can see the lateral resistance effect or the shear resistance effect. It is due to the interface friction between the geocell wall and the soil. It adds strength to the soil, and even the bearing capacity can be increased 4 to 5 times with the one layer of geocell inclusion. It has been demonstrated in the lab as well as in the field. So the geocells can be characterized based on cell dimensions, aspect ratio, strip thickness, density, surface area, and tensile strength. So there are several studies done on geocells. So starting with Kasarani and Jamna in 1987, and Barthrust and Jarrett in 1988, and Barthrust and Professor Rajagopal in 1993, and a lot of model footing tests done worldwide. In India also, Professor Rajagopal, Professor Sitaram, Professor Madhavilata, Dr. Sirish, Dr. Dash, Dr. Amarnath, and I am also working a little bit on geocells. So these are some of the studies on model footing test and some of the studies on geocell retaining walls. So this is another study we have done, model test using geocells made of areca leaf sheath. So this was also published. 2 papers have been published in this. So you can see the areca leaf sheath used for manufacturing the geocells. You can see. So these are the material properties of the clay, soil, sand that was used as infill material, and the tensile strength of the areca cells and areca leaf grid and geocells. This is HDP geocell. Its tensile strength is 7.5 kilonewton per meter, but areca material has 44 kilonewton per meter tensile strength. So almost you can say 6 times higher. So this is the result. Actually, we have conducted the model footing test on clay bed. It was published in Geomechanics and Geoengineering. You can see Araka leaf and Araka grade combination is giving much higher performance than HDP geocell polypropylene geogrid combination. And compared to unreinforced cell, you can see the increase in bearing capacity is also much high. There is a 4 times increase in the safe bearing capacity, ultimate bearing capacity of the soil when the soil is reinforced with geocells. Even with the natural geocells, it is performing as good as the commercially available geocells. The commercial HDP geocell cost around 300 to 400 rupees per meter square. Whereas this natural material is available, it is like a waste, it is free of cost, it is available, it is only about stitching and manufacturing. But durability is an issue which can be addressed by treatment. But in slope stabilization application, even that is not an issue, because for short-term stabilization, you can give the natural material, then do vetiver plantation, which the roots of which will go deep in 1 year time. And then this Araka material in 2 years, that will degrade and become a manure for the vetiver. So I will not go into the mechanisms. So to be very brief, so these are the 3 mechanisms, like lateral support reaction, vertical stress distribution, and membrane effect. So I will not go into the technical details. So the vertical dispersion is because of the height of the geocell, and lateral resistance is due to the interface friction angle. That is here in the term delta is the interface friction angle between the geocell wall and the soil contained within. And we have also developed geocells from Kayar material, Sisal, and jute. These are also first of its kind work that we have done. And this was also recently published in ASE journal. So the Kayar, jute, Sisal also perform much better, as good as commercially available geocell materials. Now I will take you to a model retaining wall test. Till now we have seen model footing test. So how it perform, how geocell perform as a model, as a reinforcement, or as a retaining wall. Simply by stacking geocells, you can form a retaining wall. You need to build another retaining wall with simply stacking geocells and filling it with the gravel or sand or simply existing soil itself. You can form a geocell wall and you can retain the soil. So that is the beauty of geocell retaining walls. And you need not give any additional fascia or cover. You can simply plant vegetation if needed. That is also not required, also not mandatory also. So we have done some model studies, model retaining wall test on HDP geocell as well as Kayar geocells in a model test plan. So I here, if there are students present here, this was a work done by an MTech student with no facilities available. We did not even have a hydraulic jack to apply load. He used construction blocks to apply load. But this paper was published in a good journal, Geotechnical and Geological Engineering by Springell. It was that student's hard work. So the entire test setup was a jugaad actually. With existing resources, he has conducted this test. So you can see how the load is applied simply by putting the construction blocks. The load was applied, a platform was made using a panel. Fine, so the final result has shown that when you provide the geocell retaining wall, the displacement, so this is the horizontal displacement versus pressure. The displacement was very less. For unreinforced case, even with the one block, it started displacing. But when it is the geocell retaining wall was constructed, even at higher pressure, the displacement was less. And here you can see the HDP wall is performing much better. This is under dry condition. But under wet condition, we have even replicated simulated rainfall you can using a shower setup. It was done using a simple shower setup. So this was also a kind of jugaad we have done. Even under raining condition, under wet condition, the geocell was performing better, and here to our surprise the Kayar geocell was performing much better than the HDP geocell. Why? Because the Kayar geocell was much highly permeable, because HDP, it is impermeable, and the perforation, the water can drain only through the perforation, so hydrostatic pressure will get built up. But in the Kayar geocell, there is no time for the water pressure to build up, and liquefaction is less. There is no pore pressure getting developed, and there is fast drainage happening because it is highly permeable. So that is why under wet condition, the Kayar geocell retaining wall was able to resist the soil displacement very efficiently. Well, so I will now briefly take you to two small case studies that I was involved in. So this is from Mumbai-Pune Express highway. So here actually for retaining the soil, MSC wall was used. A simple reinforcement, geotextile reinforcement was used. So here you can see the properties and the tensile strength of the material used, etc. So this was the design that we have given, and it was achieving desired factor of safety of 1.7. So this is another case study recently I have done. So this is from near Mangalore only, and it's 66. And there are several locations where land collapse happened. In 2020 rainy season and 2019 also collapse happened. So that is why actually that was a VIP area where MLA also resides. So that is why very quickly they approached us. Some amount, 3 crore was also sanctioned. It was a 1 kilometer stretch where 5 land collapse already happened. And they have a plan to expand the highway. Here is the highway by 1 more lane. So here actually what we have suggested, so you can see the pictures of collapse at different locations. So at some location, the height of the already one masonry wall is there. So it goes up to 10 meter high, but it collapsed. So under rainy season, it's a threat actually. So because here also there is one road going on, and top also there is a highway. So this is also a road which is used daily, and here they have a highway on top. So when collapse happen with the sandbags, they try to retain as a temporary arrangement. So we have given them two design. This is the one design that we have given, because it is a existing highway. We cannot do reinforcement from bottom more than 2 meter into the highway, because here actually this is 5 meter is available. Beyond that it is a highway, so we cannot dig also completely. So this is one design that we have given to go for soil nailing on top and bottom. And on top actually this is the existing slope is shown in dashed line. So there it can be excavated and with the geogrid and geocell fascia. So that is one design that we have given. But already there are so many locations where a lot of collapse happen. So there that cannot be applied. So they wanted one more design. So this is the design that we have given. I will not go into the analysis. We have done the analysis in Plaxis, Geo5, and also manually. And also the Prestro Geosystems has given us a software that also we have considered. So it was very intact. It was very stable. The factor of safety was more than 2 we are getting, even under wet condition. So this is the design that we have given, a combination of soil nail plus geogrid plus geocell. So this is the design that we have given. So this geocell thickness is 2 meter. So what is the beauty is that this will keep the soil intact, and this will also act like a gravity wall. And this soil nailing is there, so the earth pressure will be considerably reduced. So this is the combination of soil nailing, geogrid reinforcement at a half meter interval, and that at 1 meter interval, that geogrid which is connected to the soil nail that will go into the geocell system. So it is a complete one continuity is there, and geocell with infill of gravel. No, the drainage also you need not give additional drainage, and even in the outermost fascia you can have soil infill and grow vegetation also. So this is the design that we have given. And this is also when we have, because this is was coming out to be the very cost effective, and because if it is an RCC wall, no, the cost will be 5 times higher or much more. This was coming out to be very cost effective, sustainable, and very practical. But only problem is that even their consultant or Mangalore City Corporation, they are not aware of, not forget about geocells, even geosynthetics, they are not very familiar. Soil nailing, they are aware, because that is being done very commonly, soil nailing. But geocell and geosynthetics, they are not able to get contractors actually in this region. So that is why they contacted, I have suggested some contacts in Chennai and Mumbai. Fine, but so there is a need to popularize, because its durability also, it will stay for 100 or more than 100 years, and it is very efficient, cost effective, environmentally friendly, and in terms of strength aspects also very effective. So our soil or geotechnical engineers and the carbon footprint also very less compared to the concrete where cement and steel is highly used. So we should go for sustainable techniques available. So with this, I will end my presentation. So concluding remarks is simply, I will not read out. So it is like there is a need to popularize soil reinforcement using geosynthetics or fibers made out of synthetic or preferably natural materials, especially in soil stabilization applications. And there is a lot of scope for research also. These are a couple of publications, some important publications, like this was published in ASCE, the Kyer cell networks we have used. And this is another publication. This is the paper that I was talking about, the geocell retaining wall. It was completely the work by my student, Rajesh Kumar, in a very limited resource setup. We were able to publish this. So I am sharing because if students are there, they can understand even with what, if you are just your determination, passion, and hard work, even good work can be done. So this is another work actually that we have done. 2 books, edited books coming up. One on ground improvement techniques also. This is the geocell book that I was talking about, recently published. Thank you. So if there is any questions, I will be happy to take.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Srivalsa. A very informative session, and you have covered all aspects of soil reinforcement. And
Thank you, sir.
one beautiful thing that I always notice in your presentation, that the quantum of work that you show, the hard work and dedication of your students who are involved with you, and you are also able to relate with the field studies, like you have shown a lot of case studies, and this actually definitely is going to motivate all the researchers, students, and people who are willing to work in this field. See, there is no shortcut to success, we all know. But then we get motivated when these examples are presented. So although you mentioned that you don't fit for this session, for this GeoLive, but I don't accept your comment. You definitely fit here, and we definitely appreciate your effort, and it's amazing. Like, I don't have words for you. In such a short span, you are still very young, and you are doing so much of work.
Thank you very much.
That's amazing. I think we can have the question answer session, and if somebody wants to ask the question, they can unmute themselves, or they can ask, or they can write in the chat box.
Yeah, in the chat box I see couple of questions, like in coffee estate areas in Karnataka like Madikeri, to overcome soil stabilization, these fibers used there. Yeah, it is true. Actually, I am a consultant to Tata Coffee Estates, so I have visited also their two estates in Chikmagalur, Merti Khan Estate and Mailmoni Estate. So they are actually around 1,000 acres. So there visited, actually a lot of landslide happened in 2019 there. And recently also 2020 also there was a landslide probability. That is why they called us. So they also, I was happy to note that they have planted vetivers, and with that also effectively a lot of landslide probability can be reduced. But that only may not be sufficient. If there is some infrastructure projects, additional reinforcement also need to be done. So that is what we have recommended them in the coffee estates. True, there are a lot of landslides happening. Lot of, in that two estates itself, I have seen 10 to 15 land collapse actually. So which can be mitigated actually, which can be mitigated. It is mainly seen during rainfall. And
yeah, I think they are all appreciating.
yeah. Yes.
So anyone who wants to ask question, they can unmute, or they can write in the chat box.
Yeah, there is a question. Yeah, there is a comment from Sri Lanka. Yeah, and there are so many good thanks for all the comments. One question: is it possible to replace
these positive comments actually motivate us to
thank you
do much better. Yeah,
replace the sandbags by robo sand? Yeah, that could be, but sandbags is a temporary arrangement we do. That is not a permanent setup. And even in Kerala also, it seems geogrids used more in South India where more landslides taking place. Yeah, in Kerala also, actually in 2019, a lot of landslides happened. In 2020 also in Petti Mudi, in Idukki, there was a huge landslide. So actually, after that, the Tata Estate people approached us. After that Pettimudi landslide, they were also afraid of such a landslide probability. So that is why we have done a huge work there, actually, some studies of landslide mapping, etc. And we have given us our recommendations. I don't know whether they are implementing this year or next year, because of budget constraints. But it is true, in Kerala also there is a lot of landslide probability, especially because of the erratic distribution of rainfall. You see, the drainage is the most important thing here. If the drainage is proper, I think the half the problem is addressed. Because when the distribution, we are receiving 1 month's rain in 2 days, then there is no time for water to drain away. So that is why pore pressure getting built up. And recently in the Edimala Naval Academy, so there also actually huge work we are doing. Even it's some 3 crore project actually. So there actually I completed the site visit. There you will not believe, there are 60 sites where there is a probability of landslide, and already around 10 to 15 land collapse has happened. So there actually we are suggesting, so that is also rainfall and drainage is the issue. Rainfall, erratic distribution of rainfall, and improper drainage. If that can be addressed, half the problem is addressed. And for infrastructure, we need to give additional reinforcement. So there is a need to use more geogrids for soil reinforcement. Plasma arc technology, sorry, I am not aware of that.
Plasma arc torch technology, I think this is century-old technology where you heat the soil and then you stabilize it. It's a century-old technology. I think there is no need of reinventing the wheel again and again. So, but that is good. That is good. See, if you have not seen addition bulb, and if you are all surrounded with the so sometimes you feel that that is an innovation or invention, but it's good. So, this is an old technology, very old technology, century-old technology.
Yes. So, soil stabilization. Yeah, there are different
using
biologically or
heating process. Plus, through plasma, they develop heat and then they stabilize the soil. Another question is by Bhavita, I think. First, can you please suggest any project in geotechnical for my project?
Yeah, Yeah,
Yeah.
what I would suggest you is, see, very good. I love to interact with students. See, you can find out your own project. What you do is you look around different problems in and around you. You look around. So actually, if your eyes are open, you will see. If you travel by road, so actually during lockdown time, in my place itself, native place itself, I have seen land collapse that has happened. One of my friends, no neighbor, actually they have told their house was also under threat. So like that, if you travel also, you will see several issues that can be addressed by geotechnical engineer. Several issues. You have to keep your eyes open, look around. So actually, I give a idea challenge to students to find out some issues in and around you. You take because in India is on the path of infrastructure development, and huge amount is getting invested on infrastructure development, be it road construction, highway construction is getting speeded up, or infrastructure development, or vibration screening, because there is a huge earthquake threat also in the Himalayan region. So all these cases, geotechnical engineers have a lot to contribute. So if you look around, identify a couple of problems, and you think over it, within 1 or 2 weeks time, some ideas will click on to you. So that is why it will come from you itself. It will come from within, and then you can do some literature. You identify, you can do a Google Scholar research or Scopus research to collect some literatures to identify the research gap. So for as it is an MTech project, no, if there is some research component, it will be good. So you can know from the literature survey what are the studies that have been done on that topic, identify a research gap, then try to address that with some increment or with some new additions to that. So I will not suggest a specific topic because it is vast. You can, any field you take, there is a scope to work, especially in geotechnical engineering and soil reinforcement itself. Even though lot of thousands of papers you will get, still there is lot of scope to work.
I think you are getting lot many questions once we start responding.
Yes.
Nowadays, recycled aggregate used in pavement along with, I'm interested, to inculcate geofibers with it, enhancing the strength of pavement in subbase. What is your comment on it?
Yeah, it is a welcome. Recycled aggregates, if it can be used anywhere, no, especially recycled aggregates and all the demolition waste has to be effectively utilized. And the best space to use it is the pavement. Even the recycled plastic also, even in a 100-kilometer stretch, if you are able to actually, day after tomorrow, I am having a presentation in DST. So we have submitted a 1 crore project. So it was accepted after initial screening. So there is a good chance we have an industry partner also, Strata Geosystems. So we were discussing for a 100-kilometer stretch, around 1400 tons of plastic waste can be utilized. So it is a kind of turning a waste into wealth. Similarly, and it is used in road stretch. Similarly, recycled aggregate also can be used, and geofibers also anyway it can be used. But mixing fibers, there is a practical difficulty in you for a large stretch. So otherwise, that also can be encouraged. What kind of soil is required so the vegetation can grow when we use geosoil? So with the soil with some organic content, it can be normal soil actually, whatever soil available. No, wherever you see, no, wherever vegetation is growing, no, any soil can be taken. So we classify soil based on its particle size, no, like clay, silt, sand, something like that. But for the vegetation growth, you have to see its organic content and its nutrient content. So any soil which enhances the vegetation growth can be used. Only thing is ensure that there is proper space for drainage. That perforation should be there. If you are giving soil, if it is a gravel infill, a drainage will automatically happen. But if it is infilled with the soil, the perforation should be there so that the water will be drained without any difficulty.
There is a question from Hardeep Singh. Sir, is in India geofoam is used for slope stabilization? He's asking whether geofoam can be used for slope stabilization.
I think it can be used, but I will prefer it is better to use geotextile. Geotextile, especially even for slope stabilization, you can go for natural geotextiles also, Kayar geotextiles, Isel or jute geotextiles, or even you can go for geocells also for slope stabilization. So usually for slope stabilization and erosion control, geotextiles or geomat are used widely.
And there is a question from Shailin Deka. What type of strategy to be used in soils having mixed soil like sand, gravel, boulders, like you see in the case of Eastern Himalayas, where you have mixture of all
Yeah. So actually, as you told, no, as I recently told you, in the Edimala Naval Academy also, it is also something like that. And at one side, they have a purely very soft soil, at where other side, they have boulders and gravels. So wherever there is a rock or something like that coming, so such rock discontinuity can be addressed through techniques like rock bolting or mesh. You can even give mesh. I have shown in my presentation also gabion mesh or steel wire mesh, etc., which can hold the rocks or gravels. And if you have soils, no, there you can give soil reinforcement using nailing. Soil nailing is also very good effective, because if you want to provide inclusion like geotextiles or geograde in the newly yet to be filled site, only you can include the geogrids. But for if you want to stabilize the existing slope or soil, you can go for soil nails, because you can drive the nails into the soil and grout it. So in soft soil, you can go for soil nailing. When you are getting presence of boulders, etc., you can go for rock bolting if there is a discontinuity in the rocks, or mesh also you can provide. In Konkan railways also, you will see a lot of rock bolting and mesh to prevent rock fall. Especially in Himalayan area, there also actually we were discussing one project with IIT Jammu. So we have submitted a joint project also. There also National Highway Authority of India. So there also it's kind of such kind of a terrain, mix of soil, sand, boulders, gravels, etc. So a combination of different technologies will have to be adopted there.
That's true. That's true. No, there is no single pill for a problem.
True.
When it comes to geotechnical engineering, you have to give multiple solutions to a given problem. There's a question by Danish. Can we use geotextile to reduce depth of footing for raft foundation case?
Yeah, surely. So that we recommend on a daily basis. We get a lot of consultancy project for small projects and big projects also. So higher the depth of foundation we recommend, the bearing capacity will increase, because the overburden is removed. No, that is why the second term gamma df. No, if you calculate, apply Terzaghi's theory of Meyerhoff theory. So if you want to reduce the depth of footing for raft foundation, so, you can provide geograde or even geocells or even geotextiles can be given. So that can actually enhance the bearing capacity. Actually, we usually say 0.3 times the width of the footing. At that depth, if you give inclusion, we have demonstrated in the model tests also, the reinforcement will be more effective if the inclusion of reinforcement is at a depth equal to 0.3 times the width of the footing. So it can help in increasing the bearing capacity. So higher the bearing capacity, if you are reaching required bearing capacity even at a shallow depth, you can reduce the depth of foundation.
Perfect. I think you have handled all the questions with a lot of energy and enthusiasm. So you have to tell me that what you take to get this much of energy.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
That is great. That is great.
Thank you.
I think there is no much more question in the chat box. So I hand over the session to co-chair to give vote of thanks and appreciation to the participants and you especially who joined us and spent information. information, knowledge, motivation, lot of things.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for taking up the queries of our audiences and for sharing your knowledge with us. It was such a detailed and enlightening presentation, sir. And I, on behalf of School of Civil Engineering, Lovely Professional University, Indian Geotechnical Society, Jalandhar Chapter, and Department of Civil Engineering, NIT Jalandhar, and from the entire team of faculty members and students, I am thankful to you for spending your time with us, and we wish you all the good health and prosperous life ahead, sir. And as a token of appreciation, please accept our e-certificate of appreciation, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I hope you can see Dr. Srivalsa.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you once again.
Thank you, sir.
And good night from India to all
night.
who are present here. Wish you all the best.